Death has reared himself a throne in a strange city, lying all alone far down within the dim west, where the good and the bad and the worst and the best have gone to their eternal rest. Their shrines and towers, time-eaten towers that tremble not, resemble nothing that is ours.
The poet's words well describe Fort Hommit. Always bleak, this west coast Guernsey headland is ugly now. Surmounting its pink rocks stand massive granite defences against Napoleon in the 19th century and the forbidding concrete follies of a 20th century dictator. It is a grim castle, built in the sad years by men of frantic zeal, among them slave labourers whose bones are a fine dust and whose names forgotten. One Guernseyman did not forget. Hubert Le Galloudec came here and in this bare place created beauty. He took an empty bunker and with infinite patience and imagination built a granite grotto and a shrine of shells. As we talked, he told me why.
Well, in the beginning, to start off with, there was the slave workers that had been working here and seen such a lot of misery, plus the fact that it's a wall bunker, and I'd like to have turned it into something of peace, and to the memory of the slave workers.
This isn't the only shrine in Guernsey. I'm thinking of the Vaubelet, where the materials used were broken china. What kind of materials have you used in your shrine here?
Well, I use seashells, and you can only collect them from Portlet at Rocaine, as far as the Vale Church, at the foot of the Vale Church. After that, then you're out of luck.
Have you any idea how many shells you've used in the shrine so far?
Well, for the building of the shrine itself, I used about 98,000 shells, but that's been damaged on several occasions. I've had to replace them, of course, so it's well over the million mark.
Indeed. How long have you actually been working thus far on it?
For 6 years. This is 6 years. Well, just over. This would have been the 7th year if I hadn't been going to give it up.
You're going to give it up, are you?
Oh yes. Well, I mean, there's been such a lot of damage by the vandals that it's worthwhile. It's worthless, you know.
Perhaps we can come back to that subject in a minute. Could you explain to us very simply and briefly some of the designs in the shrine?
Yes, well, all the designs and the signs in the shrine, as you will most likely see later on, depicts everything from the Bible. From the Garden of Eden, you see the tree of life and the apple above. And you have the crucifixion in another corner, the Paschal Lamb, you have the Ten Commandments, the Holy Trinity, you have the name of the 12 disciples.
And these are depicted simply by sticking shells on the walls of the bunker?
Yes, you just make a little idea in your mind and you sketch it out, and you have to stick with polyfiller, but you have to select your shells, wash them, and then you have to bring them up and start sticking all over it again.
What's the use of a place like this?
Well, there's quite a lot, really, because when I first started building the shrine, and children and people used to come put flowers at the feet of Christ, and then different people who, like there's one person, for instance, that stands out in my mind, her son being killed in a motorcycle accident in Guernsey, and she went to Germany on holiday and brought me a crucifix in memory of her son. And you get several instances. Another instance was a little deaf and dumb girl. She was also blind, and she brought little statues in to have a memory of herself.
I believe you've also raised quite a bit of money for charity.
Yes, I've raised in the region of £400 and given it anonymously to different charities in the island.
Mr. Le Galloudec, this is perhaps an unusual hobby. Is it just a hobby for you, or does it mean more?
Well, it is a hobby, I must admit, but it's also more than a hobby, because there's an end product, not end product, should I say, but I'm helping somebody less fortunate than I, and people respect it with reverence, and I love it.
6 weeks ago it was wreckers, not worshippers, who came to smash the shrine. It wasn't only shells and statues that were shattered, but the joy of a little girl who brought flowers. the love of a mother remembering her son, the pleasure of visitors who left gifts. One man looks on, sadly, disappointed, wondering why. Outside, the sea pinks bloom again with confidence for those who notice. Perhaps he too has noticed as he searches, and is encouraged. This man who built a shrine